So guys, not long now before Infinity War, but will anyone die in it? Ooh, welcome back guys, it's Geek here. Yes guys, don your Infinity Gauntlets because we're going to discuss some of Infinity War right here, right now. And don't forget, there's a giveaway. Stuff like that, to win one of these, so enter that if you want. Yes, so who is going to die in Infinity War? Well, I'm not convinced anyone particularly will. I think someone definitely will within the two-parter, so in Avengers 4. I'm not so sure about Infinity War, but we're going to talk about like 4 main people who I think are good candidates for that. Now I'll quickly mention characters such as the Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man have sequels that take place after Avengers 4, so of course they'll be okay. Maybe not all the Guardians, maybe Drax or Nebula, she might snuff it, but in general people like Star-Lord will survive this. Also Black Panther and Doctor Strange most likely have sequels, and there might be a Black Widow solo movie, and potentially Bucky will be in that as well, so they'll be okay as well. And yes, you may well get some lesser characters that might die, and perhaps Heimdall might die if he has a Soul Stone. But the 4 big ones I'm going to talk about are Loki, Vision, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Yes, they're pretty big names. First, let's talk about Vision, or the Vision. Now, it's fairly safe to say he's a big contender to maybe be killed, considering the fact that in the middle of his head is one of the Infinity Stones that Thanos will almost certainly get hold of. I think that could be spelling trouble for him. I mean, we've seen in the trailer they're trying to take it out of him. Whether they succeed in that movie or there and then, I don't know, but they're definitely attacking him. Now personally, and this might be a bit spoilery, but only if I'm correct, I think this might be happening earlier on in the movie, and I don't think they succeed. He then goes injured to Wakanda to be protected, and then Shuri's there and she's trying to work out, look, is there a way to take the stone out of him and have him survive? Now I could have got that completely back to front, I don't know. So the chance of him dying in Infinity War, I'd say, is basically 50%, 50-50. They'll either get the stone from him there and then, but they'll have worked out a way for him to survive that, or they'll get the stone from him there and then and he obviously won't survive that, or if they don't get the stone in Infinity War, which is a possibility because I'm not convinced he'll complete the gauntlet in the first movie. Maybe he will, but he might not. If that's a stone he doesn't get until Avengers 4, I think if they got it from Vision in that movie, Vision will be dead. Like, I can see him being in Avengers 4, but if they take the stone from him then, I think he'll die. Personally though, I think the only stone that Thanos will need to get in Infinity Gauntlet, if that's what they call it, or Avengers 4, will be the Soul Stone, because I'm not convinced it'll even be maybe they'll show you what it is in Infinity War, but I'm not convinced they'll get it in that movie. I think he probably will get the Mind Stone in Infinity War, so like I say, it's 50-50 chance because either Vision will survive that or he won't. And next is Loki. Now this character's been hinted at dying a lot because he's already died multiple times, or like fake died, and he's also done some bad things, but he's not all the way bad, and he's done some good things, but he's not all the way good, so he doesn't really know how he fits in at all, and so I just think he's kind of doomed in that sense. And now we know that Thanos will get the Space Stone courtesy of Loki, and in the trailer it kind of looks like maybe that's against his will, like the Black Order have rounded him up, taken him to Thanos, and he's like, oh, here it is. But maybe Loki will get away with it. Maybe he'll be like, oh hey Thanos, I've been meaning to call you actually because I found the Tesseract eventually, so there you go, please don't kill me. And that may work for him, but more likely Thanos will be like, oh yeah, thanks for the stone, but you failed me before, kills him. I don't know what is, but that's Loki dying. So yes, I think the chance of Loki dying is like 75%. But then we come on to 2 huge characters, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Will they die? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Tony Stark will not. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. has been with MCU now for like 10 years. He started it, and it would kind of make sense if it's been leading up to this war. If he bowed out at this point, it would make sense, and he can't play a superhero forever. So yeah, maybe he will die. We've seen in the trailer some ominous states that he's in against Thanos, and it's hard to imagine how he could possibly survive those scenarios. I mean, the one where he's got his helmet off, Thanos could quite literally just walk up to him and pull his head off. Like, even without the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos would be strong enough to do that. So, I'm not sure how he's going to get out of that situation. But there has been rumours before of, Robert Downey Jr. hinting at Iron Man 4. So, and also, would he really let himself be killed off? He's kind of narcissistic, isn't he? In a good way, in a funny way, in a Tony Stark way. So, would he really want to be killed off? I'm not so sure. I personally think he will live through Infinity War. I think he will survive both parts of Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet, or Avengers 4, whatever it's going to be called. I think he'll survive both parts, but he will definitely survive Infinity War. That's what I'm going to go out on a limb and say. He will definitely survive Infinity War. If I'm wrong, soz. But this brings me to the most obvious person that everyone thinks is going to die, and that is Steve Rogers. The reason why I'm saying Steve Rogers all the time and not Captain America is because I'm pretty sure he's not Captain America anymore. People are saying maybe he's like taken on the Nomad persona, and that kind of makes sense. He's pretty much turned his back on the government because they tried to frame him, or Hydra did, and he had to break some laws to sort of go against them and that kind of thing. So he's gone a bit rogue, and he had to, and you don't see him wearing any silly Captain America costumes anymore. I think he's more of a Nomad type persona, so let's just call him Steve Rogers. But there are some reasons against why he might not die, so let's go over those real quick. The first is, he's a huge hero, so you kind of think, well, he's got to be part of both parts of this, this story. He's going to be against Thanos, and surely, a big hero that we all want to see won't die, right? We also know that he has filmed for Avengers 4, because they shot both movies back to back, and it's, pretty much guaranteed that he has shot for both of the movies. We even know that his contract was extended to allow him to be in Avengers 4. Originally he was going to be in 6 movies. I mean, he's got a couple of cameos, but 6 proper roles, and he was going to be in those, and that was it. But they decided to make the Infinity War story 2 parts, because they're trying to get so many characters into it, so they kind of had to say to him, look, we want you in both parts, so that's going to be your 7th proper movie, so he extended his contract. So it's fairly safe to say he filmed for Avengers 4. And also, in interviews, when they talk about it, and him not being Steve Rogers anymore, he's kind of like, well, if Marvel want to extend my contract, that's great, but currently my contract's ended, so I'm not going to be him.
Well, my contract is over, so that's as far as I know.
And it kind of makes you think, well, if he was dead, he would just be like, well, I can't be him anymore because he's dead. He's not. He keeps playing the card of, well, I'd like to continue being him. However, all of these points can be explained away really, really easily. The first part, surely they won't kill Big Hero. Well, the producers have been saying exactly that. They've promised, for a long time now, that Big Hero or heroes will be being killed in these movies. So that's that point gone. Well, then why is he filming in Avengers 4? Well, and this is a bit spoilery, so if you don't know this already, maybe look away, or that wouldn't do much good, maybe not listen, I don't know. We know that there's a big flashback scene which seems to have been filmed for Avengers 4. You see Steve Rogers, or Chris, dressed in the old style Captain America, outfit, and he's not got a beard, and it's clear the scenes are like a flashback to when they've beaten the Chitauri in New York and they've captured Loki. You even see Loki with that muzzle thing, and so they're filming like a flashback scene. It might not be a flashback, it might be time travel, but either way, present day Steve Rogers could still be dead. And then the final point of why would he not just say in interviews, well, I can't be Steve Rogers because he's dead? Well, he probably doesn't want to spoil it for people. He's probably been told not to spoil it for people. He's probably even signed a non-disclosure agreement to say he won't tell people. So whenever he's asked in an interview, he quite cleverly says, well, if they want to extend my contract, they can, but currently it's ended, rather than saying, I can't be him because he's dead. That's the perfect response to give, and like I say, that is now explained away that he could be just covering up the fact he's dead. So he really could be dying in Infinity War, guys. Like, I don't want it to happen. I don't. But signs are kind of pointing towards that being the case. Sorry to say. If he doesn't die in Infinity War or Avengers 4, I would guarantee that Steve Rogers will retire. I mean, Captain America for sure has kind of gone away. I think Steve Rogers will just, hand him whatever type of shield he's got at that point and say, that's enough for me, we managed to stop Thanos, but I've got to stop this. Maybe he'll like appear as a cameo now and again in a different solo movie for some other character, but he won't be a proper Avenger anymore. They won't focus on him anymore. You know, his story will be done. A way to make a character's story done and not needing to be in other movies is just by killing them off. Like I say, I'm not convinced he will die in Infinity War, but out of those 4 characters, I think he's the most likely to die. And out of all the characters that might die, he will be probably the biggest loss apart from Tony Stark, but as I say, I think he will survive. What do you think though, guys? Let me know down below. Not long now, guys, literally just a few weeks away. I may well do another video of something to do with Infinity War, but until then, try not to cry about Steve Rogers being killed. Like I say, don't forget to enter the competition to win this, or a new one in fact, not this one, if you want to. So guys, that about do it. Click like if you like that, make sure you're subscribed for more videos like this, and I'll see you on the next video. And until then, remember, yeah, Steve Rogers is going to die. Okay, bye. Guys, if you're still here, you're awesome! But as you are still here, why not check out some of my other videos? Oh, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe. Laters, haters.